Welcome to the best gambling show on the internet. This is the home of the money pick. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe. Week 7 is here. Let's get this money. I'm looking forward to it. What's up, Cosmic? Yes, money. I got the money shirt as well for your comment. Alex, what's up, Alex? Thinking 49ers money line is crazy. I don't think it's crazy, but I'm still going Chiefs. Like Christian McCaffrey and what went down there has nothing to do with why I'm picking the Chiefs this game. My main worry about the 49ers is the health of the defensive line. You got Kinlaw banged up. You got Armstead banged up. You got Bosa with a groin injury. Listen, it looks like Bosa's going to play, but how effective will he be? And I don't like going back into past matchups, but we all know why the 49ers won that Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Or that I remember a game. I'm trying to think. I just remember last time they played, it was the 49ers defensive line whooping the Chiefs O-line. Tariq B, my daughter even says money. Yeah, I know I should trademark it. I do wonder if I could trademark it. J-Sup, what's up, man? I think I saw one of them. I did see the Dolphins -4 first half, and that looks pretty delicious to me. There's questions there. Like there's questions for any bet you can make in the NFL. But I liked it. I'll get to the other ones. What's up, Tico? What's up, man? Hope everything's good with you. What's up, Stevie? Yeah, man, I'm ready for week 7. Appreciate it. Took like 2 hours today. I wish I was rich. Once I get rich, I think I'm going to hire a barber to come like every 3 days. What's up, Tasha? Felipe says Bengals -6.5, Patriots -7. I do listen. The Bengals, I have to stay firm with the Falcons +6.5, but there is something about that game that does feel like a trap to me. Dave Greenberg, hey John, good to be here. Let's get them all right this week, bro. Let's go, Dave. It should be a fun week. John Jones, what's up, Lawson? I've been riding with you for 3 years now. Keep on grinding, man. Thank you. I will. I'm liking the over 44.5 in the Miami game. What are your thoughts? When I did the over unders, I had it under. But honestly, if you gave me my opinion now, I would go over. I picked it when it was at 45.5. And when I did like the score in my head, I felt like it would be like 24-20, 27-20. I worry about the Steelers offense in that game. It was nice what they did last week against the Buccaneers, but it really wasn't enough. And this Dolphins offense has to respond. And the Dolphins -7 is too much for me, especially with some of the questions about Tua. But the one I liked was that -4 in the first half. I do think that game goes over though. Because listen, I'm not a stat guy, but we remember all the games Tua played. What are they averaging in the games Tua played? Like what, 28 points before he got knocked out in that Cincy game? The Dolphins do have an explosive offense, and they were even moving the ball with these two bums they've had at quarterback. So Tua is nothing to write home about. I could see him being a little bit squeamish. That's why I didn't want to make the Dolphins a money pick this week. But with that being said, I think that offense gets back on track. What's up, Robert Clark? Robert Clark, I saw your email. I was confused about it. Why can't you get into Patreon? Just send me another email and explain it better. I might have seen it really late at night. That's why I didn't respond. Okay, here we go. Tasha says, taking Seattle. I feel that the Patriots versus Chicago is a trap game. Every time I see -3.5 on the teaser, the opposing team wins. Makes sense. Makes sense. And that's not a teaser number I like. Okay, let me get to the Patreon questions. Greg, I felt like the Niners were a Super Bowl contender before. I mean, they got serious issues with their defensive injuries and with Jimmy G, but you can never count that team out. Getting McCaffrey, though, could be a big boost. Although I don't think it has any ramifications for this week's game. Okay, here we go. Let me get to the Patreon questions. Yeah, so we got 40 questions on Patreon. Then I'm going to get some people on tonight. Should be a good night. Good, always good to be with you guys on a Friday night. P says, Lawson, check messages. I will, man. The Patreon messages aren't the best way to get at me, though, because I like sending a voice message, especially if it's something complicated. Because, I could write like to some of your questions and stuff you send me, or even your statements you write me. I could send 5, 6, 7 paragraphs, and I want to thoroughly explain, but I'll check the messages later tonight. Have a good one, P. The Hound, what's up, brother? Have your thoughts changed on the Chiefs Niners with some of the top guys coming off the injury list? Keep up the good work, dude. I am a little bit worried, but I'm still going Chiefs. I'm still going Chiefs. I'm not budging off of it. Like I said to open the show, the issues with the 49ers that I am getting scared about is the defensive line injuries. I saw the injury report today. Let's reload it and see if they updated it since I looked at it 2 hours ago. I'm seeing Mike McGlinchey, questionable. I'm seeing Bosa, questionable. I'm seeing Armstead, questionable. And that's and listen, Javon Kinlaw, he's on injured reserve. For me, here's what I look at when I look at that Chiefs 49ers matchup. I look at the 49ers secondary as being pretty decent. Jimmy Ward's been phenomenal this year. He's questionable. I do think he plays, though. Just throwing out an example. Now, when I'm looking at this game, the 49ers' route to win this game is defensive line pressure, is getting Mahomes on the ground, is getting him uncomfortable. A lot of the sharps, so to speak, a lot of stat guys were on the Chiefs last week against the Bills. We were on the opposite end of that. And, you sprinkle in a little bit of Von Miller, and that's the difference in that game. And that's why I always have fear of the 49ers. That's why you can never count them out, even though their quarterback absolutely stinks. With the 49ers, they have to get that pass rush. And Javon Kinlaw, he's a guy, he's not a big pass rusher, but he makes that whole thing flow up front for him. And I'm just nervous about Bosa because he's one of the best defensive players in this league. And even if he comes back from a groin injury, how good will he be? And we've seen those injuries hamper guys. So give me an update in the live chat if you guys heard anything. What's up, Mark? Thanks for coming, my man. Yeah, Dave, I did read McCaffrey would be used in the red zone. That is pretty interesting. That is pretty interesting. I think they should just use him next week. I wouldn't go Niners this week. I would not go Niners this week. We were off the Chiefs last week, but I think it's time to get on them. It really comes down to how their defensive line plays. Because that's what I'm looking at in this game. That's what I want on a little rant about. It's really about that defense line and how healthy it is, because that's what I think they need to win. And I do think the Chiefs defense comes out and plays pretty good here. I've been decently impressed with what the Chiefs defense has done. I'm not as impressed as other people who are just like saying this defense is the best they've had in 10 years. I wouldn't go that far, but yeah, Chiefs after a loss is scary. Devontae, what's up, my man? What's up, my man? Uh, I agree with that Raiders game. Take going over, Johnny. What's up, Johnny? Like for me, man, when I'm looking at that game, it's pretty low for a Raiders game, and I would be shocked if the Raiders don't get to 30 points. I would be shocked. We know the Texans defense has young guns in the secondary. Stingley is good. Petrie is good. Like I'm not trying to discount them, but the problem with the Raiders is they can't block anyone. They've gotten a little bit better the last 2 weeks. And luckily, the Texans only have Jerry Hughes to throw at them. And I think the Raiders will give Carr more time than normal. And also the run game starting to flow. Both are coming off buys. Devontae Williams, how you feel about the Lions? I still feel pretty good about the Lions. Still feel pretty good. Listen, I did the upset video. I think the Cowboys are on upset watch. Will I bet the Lions money line? No, but I am seriously considering taking the Lions +7. I got a lot of Patreon questions about that. I'll delve into that game more as it goes on. Ed Fioravanti, do you think the 49er line will move the trade? Yeah, I actually did. But I don't know why the line would move because of that. Because how many plays would he get? But obviously it moved. And let's see what it's at now. Because I actually thought this line, I've been pretty good on line movement this whole year. I actually thought this line would go the other way instead of the way it's been going the last 2 days. Okay, let's see. Yeah, it's -1.5, -2 Chiefs. What it opened at, pretty much. It did get up to -3 Chiefs for a little while. And like I said, like my line movement is about the defensive line health. If anyone has any information on that, please let me know. Here we go. Okay, let's get to another Patreon question. Anthony Lachuga, do you think betting the Chiefs is still a good bet, even with McCaffrey joining the Niners? Yeah. I listen, I don't think he's going to have that much impact, and I don't think he's going to have that many plays. And either way, the 49ers could throw out a 4th-string practice guy from the Pittsburgh Steelers, and he'll still produce at running back. I mean, for heaven's sake, Jeff Wilson is their running back this year, and he still gets yards, and he doesn't have a lot of speed. He doesn't have a lot of finesse. He doesn't do a lot of things good. They can make an average running back great. But like I said, I understand you get McCaffrey. That can add some things, but my analysis of the game is going a little bit different. Like, this is about the Chiefs defense. This is about the Chiefs offensive line against the 49ers defensive line and how many of those players on the 49ers defensive line are going to be healthy. Also, I'm very concerned about the way Jimmy G's been playing. We've ridden and backed Jimmy G many times over the last 3 years. Like, we've done it, we've survived it, and it's been overall lucrative. But you guys know as well as me, it is dangerous. It is dangerous, and the man's just not playing good football right now. He's far from playing good football. Okay. Sorry if you have already talked about this. I got Giants and Jets winning. Listen, the Giants-Jets situation is interesting. Like, for me, man, I'm not seeing as much as the Jets hype as other people. Like, I think the Jets-Broncos game comes down to if Russell Wilson plays. Jets defense has been phenomenal this year. Their run game has been phenomenal. But if we really look at the film, and I know Zach Wilson hasn't played that many games, Russell Wilson's actually outplayed him at quarterback. Like, that's one thing about the Jets that I think everyone should be cautious on. They're not getting good quarterback play. And there's only so much Bryce Hall can do, and eventually defenses will catch up. And this Broncos defense has a lot of dogs, although there could be a motivation factor with how bad the Broncos team has been as a whole. For the Giants, that's a game I would stay away from. I think the Jags are honestly the better team on paper, but the Giants make winning plays. And it's hard to bet against the Giants right now with some of the stuff they're doing. I do think like that's why I'm staying away from that Jags Giants game. My heart says Giants are going to steal this, but my head says, listen, the Jags got a better team and Jags are due for a win. And I don't know if what the Giants are doing is sustainable. I think a lot of people are going to lose a lot of money the next 4 or 5 weeks on Giants and Jets tickets. Could be wrong. I was wrong about the Jets against the Packers. But listen, I'm not as excited about these teams as other people. I do think there was a little bit of a trap on that Giants-Jets game. I kind of agree with you. Jalen Hurts, Jalen Hurts been balling this year. All right, let's get to the next Patreon question. Steven Faravanchi, how's the Miami game looking for this week? JSUP did throw out a first half bet -4 for Miami. I did like that. If Miami gets to the red zone, they tend to push towards the end zone. They don't like kicking field goals when they're in the red zone. Steelers' red zone defense has been absolutely phenomenal. Mike Tomlin is a great coach in that area. But I do like the -4 first half for the Dolphins. If we're talking the full game, I am a little bit cautious with it. Because the Steelers could get more healthy on defense. You guys can update me. I don't think they're getting Minkah Fitzpatrick back, but they will get some corners back. They were down to the 4th and 5th string guys against Tampa Bay. Yeah, man, and I'm a little bit worried because any hit can knock Tua out of the game, and the NFL's on high alert. Like you saw what happened with Teddy. He gets hit in the elbow. He doesn't even hit his head. They don't let him go back out into that game, even though he passed a concussion test. You see what I'm saying? Remember Dolphins against Jets? So the Dolphins are getting a lot of scrutiny now, and we all remember what happened to Tua. So anytime someone goes near him, there's a risk the NFL eye in the sky will call down, say, bring him to the tent. He can pass all the tests, and they keep him out of the game, and we're getting a fat dose of Teddy Bridgewater or Skylar Thompson again. Clara TCR. Hi, Raiders. They haven't won a game since 2017 after a bye week. Does this apply here? Listen, that type of stuff varies in opponents. Like if you're playing the Chiefs after a bye week and you're playing the Texans after a bye week, you see how that kind of just doesn't mesh with me. Listen, Raiders will win the game. I don't think there's a Texans upset watch, even though I like the Texans more than most people. The real question to me is, are the Raiders going to cover that? I think the Raiders get to 30 points. And I got to tell you, the Texans offense, they've been good at running the rock. They've been a lot like the Jets to me. Pierce, for me, has outperformed Breece Hall. I know that's going to get me in trouble, but I feel like Pierce has been the better rookie running back compared to Breece Hall. But the Texans' pass game isn't helping anyone. I think the Raiders get a good pass rush on Dougie Mills, and I think the Raiders take out vengeance. But we did a stat last year. We really looked into it. The bye week doesn't help teams, nor does it really hurt them. It's a mixed bag, and it just depends who you're playing, in my opinion. But the Raiders were catching rhythm at the right time, so I understand your question. When you're starting to catch rhythm, when you're starting to catch a little bit of fire, you don't want to take a bye week. Like if I had a 4-1 week this week on Patreon, I wouldn't want to hit the bye week the week after. That's the worst time for a bye week. Muhammad, I'm awesome, man. How are you doing? I'm doing awesome, man. It's always good to be here with you guys. I always enjoy this call and show, and you guys have interesting perspectives. You guys make me think about things maybe I haven't thought about. Kyle Hillard from Patreon. Would you double down on the Chiefs bet with it dropping below -3? Or is the 49ers getting players back to concern? Yeah, like that's the only thing I'm worried about is the 49ers getting defensive line players back. Until I get that information, I'm not doubling down on it. No one has really came out with the information. Part of it is because, yes, Bosa practiced Thursday this week, but he also practiced Thursday last week and didn't play. We know Kinlaw's out. I'm looking at Armstead and Bosa. Will they play? Those are the only injuries I'm watching for the Niners, although they do got some other key players injured. I'm not doubling down on it until I see that information. Might not even double down on it because I think we could see Bosa play and he'll play at like 50%, and then the Chiefs will be able to manage. Like I've been saying since the beginning of the show, man, I think this is about San Fran's D-line versus Chiefs offensive line. So I feel like the Chiefs got the advantage in a lot of areas. That's the way where San Fran can ruin this game. That's the only way it can ruin the game for the Chiefs if they can't contend with this pass rush. John D. Pay. Okay, Tico's question first. What do you think about KC -3, Tennessee -2, and Las Vegas Raiders -7? I like those. As the week moves on, I've been liking the Tennessee game more and more. Those of you on Patreon, you guys probably recognize that. With these AFC South teams, when I do the picks on Tuesday, it's hard to get excited for them. You know what I'm saying? Like when we have the Titans +3.5 at the Colts, when we have the Jags +4 at home against the Colts, it's hard to get excited and bang your chest Tuesday about it. But as the week moves on, you start calming down a little bit. But I also want to give you another bet in that Tennessee game, a bet I really like. You could go first quarter, you could go first half, but take the Titans -0.5 point in the first quarter. Listen, the Titans have problems in the second half, especially on offense, because the offensive creativity dies down. Downing is a really good offensive coordinator when he has his first 10 to 15 plays in the script. Colts start every game slow. And, the Colts are turning into a passing team right now, which is rather crazy. Jonathan Taylor might come back, but I don't know if that changes the rigor of this game because I think the Colts are going to try to throw it a lot because the Titans do have some weaknesses in the secondary. They gamble a lot, and you can beat them deep. But I think the Titans run the ball really well. Shaq Leonard's still out. I think that helps the Titans. KC -3. I've said a lot about it. I like it. And the Raiders, I do like it. I think the Raiders get to 30. We had someone on the YouTube comment section post. He thinks the score is going to be 28-17. I kind of agree with him. It's going to be in that range, although I do think the Raiders climb into the 30s. John D. Payne. How does a line move down on the Chiefs 49ers from 3-2 when still 80% of the money and 80% of the bets are on the Chiefs? Something doesn't jive. Curious on your thoughts. Yeah, I think it's the book. I think it's the book taking a stance here. I think they truly love the 49ers. And books always love the 49ers. Look at how much we've bet in the 49ers the last 3 years since I started making the Patreon picks. An awful lot. Books rate the 49ers really high. I think they're making a stand here. And that's what I think they're doing. But it didn't make a lot of sense to me. Now, so maybe a sharp is really, really hammering home the Chiefs or 49ers. Maybe that's what's moving it, but it is odd. And someone on Patreon is saying they're getting back Trent Williams, Nick Bosa, Mike McGlinchey, Jimmy Ward from injury. Listen, man, I don't know if all those guys are going to play. And I don't know if Bosa coming off I don't know if Bosa coming off a groin injury is going to be the same Bosa. They're still without Armstead. They're still without Kinlaw. Listen, I'm not too. Those other injuries are not too concerning to me. It's more about them getting the defensive line healthy. Here we go. Let's get it. Here we go. Okay, let's get to Dove 10, 5, 6, 5. The line for the Chiefs game is now -2. It was a bad hit. Do you think we should just cash out? Listen, -2 doesn't scare me. If it got up to I don't know, man. It's not really scaring me all that much. I don't think the point in that game is something I'm stressing on. You could cash out if you want, but I'm still going with it, man. Stevie covers. Niners future to win the Super Bowl is 14-1. What do you think? I think it's a fair bet. I think any team you get behind I think any team in the NFC you can place a bet on is probably a good bet. We're seeing the Packers faltering. We're seeing a Bucs team look disinterested. We're seeing an Eagles team that's balling. That's really the only team standing in 49ers' way. And I feel like the 49ers match up to the Eagles better than those teams. I mean, you got the Vikings playing good, but I'm a Vikings fan, but how long will that last? I'm not too excited about the Vikings' future, although I do think the Vikings get the division. Those are the teams in the NFC, and the 49ers play good November, December, January football. They run the rock and they rush the passer. Eventually that defense will be healthy. I don't know if this is the week for them to be healthy because we're talking about that an awful lot, but yeah, I don't think it's a bad bet. Really don't. Although, them getting Christian McCaffrey, I don't think should be the rationale that pushed you over the edge to betting it. Pringle. Lions defense is terrible. Dak is back. Cowboys will rock Detroit. But Pringle, you did like Cooper Rush, correct? And you remember how Dak played in the one game he played this year. And plus it's a +7. I don't think Detroit's going to win the game. I do think Dak starts a little bit slow. I mean, as a Cowboys fan, can I just ask you as a Cowboy fan, don't you think Jerry is rushing him back just a wee bit too quick? Wasn't a little bit of an overreaction with Cooper Rush struggling against a good Eagles defense? I was yelling about this. I was yelling about this all year that I think people are being too crazy about Cooper Rush, but I think Jerry is actually overreacting here. Oh, thank you for the super chat, Marcy. What did you think about last night's game? The bookie set the over-under at 44, and the total was 76. How could they be so off? Here's my opinion. A reason why I don't bet Thursday night, and those on Patreon know I make it clear every week, I'm not betting it. I'll post some props. We were 2-0 on the props last night. Listen, I can't predict Thursday night. And the people who set the odds, they're really, really good. Who set the lines, they can't predict Thursday night. So what makes you think you're going to be able to predict Thursday night? It's one thing that just leaves me scratching my head. And when you get two inconsistent teams, it's hard to make a pick, man. Um, that's where I'm at. Like, I just think Thursday night has always been an inconsistent night, but it has been more so this year. And then you're getting a team with a lot of injuries on Thursday night. Listen, the NFL players have been complaining about Thursday night since the inception. And this is a good reason why. I don't think their bodies get time to recover. So, I mean, Thursday night is an absolute cluster. The games have been a cluster, although last night was entertaining. It's just pure craziness. And sometimes in the NFL, you can't predict it. Who would have predicted it? Who would have predicted that game? Who would have predicted 2 interceptions for touchdowns, 2 plays in a row? I mean, that was absolutely crazy. I'm rambling here, but that's what it comes down to on Thursday night. I mean, that's why some people, they'll call me like a sissy for not betting Thursday night, but I want absolutely no part of it. Absolutely no part of it, man. Dalton was the reason I went over. Yeah. Yeah. Here we go. Here we go. Let's get to the next Patreon question. Lauren Kaiser, we hit on the tight end Saints prop bet. I also like one for Jacoby Myers and Damian Pierce, who both have great matchup this week. Yeah, I didn't see Damian Pierce's number, but Jacoby Myers has been getting open. Yeah. Okay. Here we go. Here we go. Can you explain in Portuguese why we like the Bears plus 8? Okay, I'll give it. I'll give it a try. Nós gostamos os ursos com os 8 pontos porque eu penso os Patriots não têm uma consistência necessário por ganhar. Olha, eles vão usar Mac Jones, pega Bailey Zappi em banco. You penso esse vai criar problemas. And listen, I think this Bears defense has something to say about this game. And I wouldn't run it better or anything like that, but I just think the Bears keep it close. And I think they're good at grinding out games. And I'm not saying the Bears are going to win it, but someone did bring up in the live chat that maybe this Matt Jones thing has an effect. And I've never been one of those people saying Matt Jones isn't better than Bailey Zappi. But I mean, come on, man. Like, I do think they should have just wrote it out with Bailey Zappi and waited for Matt Jones to be fully healthy. Because if what the media is reporting about Matt Jones' injury, he probably should have been on the sideline for 1 or 2 more weeks. Yeah. Yeah, Devin, I've been dabbling in them. I like the half bats, and I do like the quarter bats. The quarterback, I posted on Instagram a first quarter that I like is the Titans. That's one I like. But yeah, thank you for the super chat. Thank you. Yeah, I've been trying to tell people, I've been getting in arguments with people about Andy Dalton and like, listen, I know he gave us a scare in that Bengals game, but the man is extremely limited, and that's Andy Dalton for you. Here we go. Celebrity Neil. Okay. That's not a question. Moneyline Repo. Lawson, what's up, Chant? So I've been looking at Chiefs all week, set at -3 on FanDuel, wondering why it didn't move, and then it goes to -2.5. And the next day, Christian McCaffrey is traded to the Niners. Are you on KC still or what? Yeah, I'm on KC still. That's not changing my opinion. That's not changing my opinion. B-Money Toast. What team has disappointed you the most so far this year? For me, it's been the Raiders at 1-4. As someone who picked the Broncos to finish last in the AFC West, I was extremely Listen, I picked them to finish last, but I've been very disappointed in them this year. Another team I've been very disappointed in is the Browns. Raiders are on that list as well, although I think they're starting to hit a little bit of a stride. I've been very, very disappointed with the Browns, especially with the defensive side of the football. We knew it would be difficult with Jacoby Brissett. They've had some injuries on the old line and whatnot. We knew it would be difficult offensively at times for them, but this defense, they can't stop anyone. And when let's go to the Ravens Browns game, because I did see someone was asking about the over under. Man, when I'm looking at this Browns Ravens game, this is a fundamental. You take the Browns plus 6.5 here. And I do like the over in Browns Ravens for the person who was asking on YouTube. I made it a money pick on the video. But let's get to the Browns Ravens game real quick. Browns are plus 6.5. And we got a Ravens team that's allergic to covering spreads. They could be up 30 points in a game. They could be dominating a game. They'll find a way to get a push. They'll find a way to lose the spread by 1 point. Hell, against the Giants, they found a way to fumble, snap away the game. And you're looking at a Browns team. This should be fundamentally good for them to cover this spread. This is the type of bet you want, especially in 2022 NFL. Plus 6.5 against a team that will leave you in the game. But I can't bet them this week because I even think the coaching at Kevin Stefanski's been a serious issue. They can't seem to get the run game going anymore. And when you look at their defense, there's one thing to get beat by physicality or people who are faster than you. That's one thing, and that's going to happen in this league. But when you're blowing cover 3 coverages and losing a game to the Jets, letting them score 14 points in like the last 2 minutes because you blew a coverage and the guys weren't on the same page, that's when I start getting disappointed. Not that we had the Browns that week, but listen, I had them against the Patriots, and I was very, very pissed off of that game. Because even after the slow start, they had a chance to come back and win that game, and then we saw what transpired. It does. Yeah, no, that Browns-Raven game really does remind me of the crazy game last year. The Sticks, what's up, man? I don't know if I've ever seen you on a live chat. Do you think Dak Prescott will be rusty versus the Lions? I do, man. I do. And I'm not saying he's going to have a bad game by any means, but I do think he has a little bit of rust. And I think this Cowboys team, they found their milieu. Run the rock, run it some more, play action, run it, short pass. That's been the ingredients why they've been good. And, one panic loss to the Eagles. The Eagles are better than them. Let's be honest about it. But there's no shame in losing to the Eagles. But you get one loss to the Eagles, and then you instantly go back to Dak, who might not be fully healthy. And for me, Kellen Moore is calling better games as an offensive coordinator with Cooper in there. That's my opinion. And when I'm looking at this, and when I'm looking at Dak, I'm looking at a guy like sometimes he's high confidence, sometimes he's low confidence. If he's low confidence, you better look out. And a thing about this Detroit defense, they certainly can't be worse, right? They can't be worse. I do think we see a response out of Detroit. This is Dan Campbell's Alamo as well. Yes, I do like that over on the teaser, Isaac. I do like that over. Okay, I actually think the Chargers offense responds this week, and the Seahawks defense goes back down to what they were. Sean McFarland. Betting the Chiefs this week is not a good bet. I've been saying this all week. This game is now -2. Dude, you guys tell me that every fucking week. Every week I have a fucking winner. You tell me it's not a good bet because the line moved a half point. The line doesn't play the game. It doesn't play the game. What line movement had to do with the outcome of the Bengals-Saints game last week? Absolutely nada. Nada. And it's just getting old. Like, dude, like, just because a line moves, it doesn't mean a team's going to lose a game. They're going to lose it if they don't block Joey Bosa. They're going to lose it if they don't cover anyone. They're not going to lose it because some guy on a computer moves the damn line a half point. It doesn't mean anything. What does that even mean? Like, it's just, like, honestly, like, Sean's a good guy, but some of, like, the paragraph stuff he's been writing this year, like, bro, like, it doesn't mean anything. It's like, he's like, the Sharps tell me they like it, bro. Like, Sharps like the Browns last week. How did that work out for us? Like, it's just, it's like just trying to go like with this line movement. It's just, you bet the game you like and you try to stay away from pushes. You try to stay away from pushes. That's why we follow line movement. Don't let other people do the work for you. Do the work for yourself. And if you're worried about people with big pockets betting the game and the line move, then like don't bet it. But it's just like getting behind them. Like, what's another? Oh, the Sharps were with us. All the Sharps were with us on San Fran -6.5 against the Bears. That might have been the best pick I put down this year. It lost, but all the Sharps were with us. It's just the line movement. I don't even know what it's trying to say. Like, Peace has lost him. Still thinking Denver -1 is a borderline college fun thoughts. I like Denver. I wouldn't say college fun, but at a certain point, we have to expect the Jets and Giants to come down to their mean performance, right? Like, I don't think they're going to keep stealing games. And I'm worried more about the Jets than the Giants because I think Daniel Jones is playing better than Zach Wilson. So that's where I'm at. And when I'm looking at that game, the only thing that concerns me is Russell Wilson's a game time decision and how bad is this hamstring? Because I knew the line when it opened at -3 for the Broncos, I knew it would move down. But that didn't bother me or make me like want to like bet the Jets. Like it's just like eventually I think this Jets thing is going to come to an end unless they get some better quarterback play. A good example of the lack of quarterback play was against the Packers. They don't get that block punt. I don't think the game goes the same way. Not making excuses because that Jets defense came in and balled. And that's what I'm talking about. But yeah, I like the Broncos. Like, I'm not going to say it's a college fun game because the Broncos, they play so damn ugly, but the Jets have been making games ugly as well. And I don't know if they can make it as ugly as the Broncos. And I think the Broncos grind this shit out. And we were talking about the upset with the Texans at Broncos earlier in the year. Dude, Mile High is a tough place to win. It's worth some points in this league. I don't know how many points it's worth, but I believe it's worth points in this league. Yeah. Clement, yeah. betting on Nathaniel Hackett isn't fun. Unfortunately, it's something sometimes we have to do. I haven't betted on him yet. Like, I was getting killed by some people when we had the Raiders over the Broncos. That Raiders Broncos game pretty much just came down to coaching. And Josh McDaniel, he's actually been pretty decent in these last 3 games. Like, that's one reason why I like the Raiders this week. But Nathaniel Hackett will lead the Jets in this game, and it makes me nervous. But I'm thinking Russell plays, though. I do think it's a little bit of fluff. It's a little bit of drama with this hamstring injury, but I could be completely wrong. Here we go. Mikhail, is there anything with the weather that may affect this Chiefs game this weekend? Reed doesn't lose 2 in a row. It's just his motto. Keep up the good work. Weather, weather, weather for the rest of the season. Yeah, man. We used to have a guy on here who would be crazy with weather. I think he got offended by what I said one time. Like, I actually gave him praise, but he felt it was a different way, so he left. Let's see the weather report. We got lots of people from Bay Area in the chat, so if you guys know what's going on with the weather, chime in. Let's see. Let's see what the weather report is. Oh, come on. Okay, we're looking at Sunday. It's going to be a high of 64, low of 53 with some sun. I don't think they're saying it's going to have a north wind, 18 to 23 miles per hour. The best weather show on the internet. There's your forecast. San Fran's always a little bit windy. And if you're worried about wind, then you got to ride quarterbacks like Josh Allen and Pat Mahomes, guys who can cut through it. I don't think the wind will be too bad. And from what I read, it's going to be sunny. So here we go. Yeah, man. Let's get to Fredo. Fredo, thanks for talking me out of the Packers loss last week. That was just embarrassing. With all the craziness going on this season, will we see a college fun game before the season is over? The Dolphins looking good this week. Might have to dip into that cookie jar. We will. We're getting to week 8. We're getting to week 9. We're getting in that range where it starts raining. And I'm starting to give less of a fuck. So far, even with all the craziness, 15-12 on Patreon, I'll take it with all the craziness we saw. So I'm feeling good about the position now, and I think we're going to be getting it ripping this week. We just have to make it through this week because I'll be completely honest, I absolutely hate this week. And about the Dolphins, they should take care of business. I do like what JSAP posted, though. We talked about it earlier in the show, my man. Dolphins -4 in the first half. First half bets are always a little bit risky, but I've been doing it with him for a good year and a half. He came to me with this idea around maybe week 6 or 7 last year, maybe earlier. And I've just been monitoring him, and every time he sees a good one, he sends it to me, and I look at it. A few weeks ago, he did get the Philly first half against the Cardinals. Yeah, man, he's gotten some good ones, and I just tail him a little bit with those because it's interesting. I think it really is interesting. Another thing, I felt like it was interesting what he was doing with baseball betting. He would just bet like the first 5 or 6 innings. And I felt like that was a really good way to cut down bullshit. Although we know first half of an NFL game has a different set of variables completely. Yeah, man. And anytime, that Packers performance was shocking last week. I'm glad I didn't put it on. Sometimes we just have to mitigate damage in this league, as bad as it sounds. Alan Corrales. What's up, Alan? Mr. Lawson, call me crazy, but Broncos is to play on Sunday. I think they are too. Okay, let me finish your comment. Mr. Lawson, call me crazy, but Broncos is to play on Sunday. If they can beat the 49ers, they can certainly defeat the Jets. What do you think? Yeah. Like I said before, Alan, my only concern is this Russell Wilson injury situation. Like, are they fluffing? Are they trying to take heat from Russell's performances away, like saying, "Oh, he's injured, but he's fighting through it"? Are they trying to do that for the media, or is it a legit game time decision like they're doing? Make sure before you bet that, though, you learn he's in, because you're not going to see a ton of line movement, even though, like, some people say if you see a half point line movement, don't bet the game, bet the other team. Don't do that. But with how many people are on the Jets and how many people are excited about the Jets, that's one where you wait to Sunday. And once they say Russell's in, once he's active for the game, I think you got to do it, especially if you're feeling that way. And like you said, if the Broncos can beat the Niners, they can beat the Jets. Jets defense is playing good, but there are other parts of their team that I think people are getting a little bit too excited about. I do. Like, let's just do an example with my Minnesota Vikings. Am I excited they're 5-1? Hell yeah. Am I very, very happy? Yes. I was talking to my dad today. We were really, really happy, but we understand the limitations of the team we have. We understand the limitations of the teams we played. We understand that the only team my Vikings beat was the loss of the Vikings against the Eagles, and the Eagles absolutely blew them out. Jets are going to have some issues, man. And I do think Zach Wilson is an issue. And I've been leading the bullhorn on Russell Wilson the last year. He's fallen off for more than a year and a half, 2 years, and no one wants to talk about it because he's a media darling. Now you can't escape it. So now the media has to talk about it. But I think they're going a little bit overboard now. Like trying to say Zach Wilson has the advantage in that quarterback matchup is one of the craziest things I've ever heard. And it shows people aren't watching the Jets game. There's just scoreboard watching. Zach looked bad against the Dolphins. He looked even worse against the Packers. I don't know what other people are seeing. They just think because he's young, blonde, and he's handsome that he's instantly going to get better and his aura is going to take over. I've seen that a lot in this league. You know, a guy looks the part. He's tall. He got blonde hair and all that stuff. Like, people tend to believe in him more than other types of quarterbacks. And Zach Wilson isn't tall by any means, but you understand what I'm saying. He looks like the type of guy who would play like a quarterback in like a teen movie, maybe get the kids wedgies in the bathroom type stuff, go after the older moms type stuff. Yeah. So that's what I'm looking at. Here we go. Yeah, good luck, Wade. Catch those fish, man. Bring them home, man. Bring them home. I've actually only fished one time in my life. And I used to live near a lake almost my whole childhood. It does seem relaxing, but if you guys are competitive fishing, that probably gets stressful, man. Okay, this is from P. Am I tweaking for thinking that Vegas messed up on a couple of lines this week? No. I'm not sure why the Jags are favored. Giants seem so obvious, but Vegas knows something we don't, which makes me think Jags win. But Pete, I want you to ask yourself this. Like, just take away the record. Look at the last two performances. Who do you think's a better team? The performances from the Giants have been better, especially in the second half of games. But when I'm looking at team for team, I do think the Jags have a better team. But maybe that's just me getting excited because we hit that Jags +4 against the Colts earlier in the year. That's why I completely removed myself away from that team, because I can at least admit to myself I am a Trevor Lawrence mark. And even as a Trevor Lawrence mark, he's kind of let them down, and he's kind of the reason why they didn't win the last 3 games. I know the secondary absolutely capitulated against the Colts. Like, they let Matt Ryan throw it over 50 times, and Colts somehow won. And also, I do agree. Like, Daniel Jones, he's battling, man, and he does have a little bit of clutch to him. I never was as low on Daniel Jones as other people. And that's one reason why I know there's like been a lot of debate going on. Who you like better, Jets, Giants? I actually like the Giants better than the Jets. Like, I think the Jets got a better squad, but I think Daniel Jones and Saquon gives them a little bit more juice. Like, I know Breece Hall's been impressive, but I do think Daniel Jones gives his offense a little bit more juice than Zach Wilson gives them. But Jet scheme on the offensive side for running the ball has been phenomenal. Like, these end around trap plays, these counter trays, like, they've been impressive. Like, and they're fooling some teams with some shit. Okay. Here, make sure you hit the like button, make sure you subscribe. P. Also, I feel like the Monday night spread is way too high. I capped it at -5.5 maximum. I think the Bears with points is a lot. They had 400 yards of offense and played way better than the score said last Thursday. Pete, I feel like I'm in an insane asylum. I made a lot of picks over a lot of years. I probably made 5,000 to 7,000 picks over the last 3 years. I don't know if I've ever generated the amount of outrage that I generated with the Bears. And yes, I put the Bears on the upset video to beat the Patriots. It's just a little bit of a troll, even though, like you said, the spread you have is probably the spread I had in my head. I was thinking, like, dude, like, what? This is +4.5, +5, +5.5. And I'm the lowest person on the Bears. And Bears fans have been calling me a Bears hater this whole year. I'm really, really low on the Bears. But with that being said, I think we're over exaggerating about a Patriots win against the Browns. But like I said, I don't think I've ever gotten as much pushback for a pick. Now, this year, I did get a lot of pushback for the Dolphins to cover against the Bills. But that was kind of in good fun. This Patriots Bears one is like questioning my credibility, which, you know, it's yeah, they're trying to make me feel crazy about it. I don't feel too crazy about it. Bears cover. Mountain of Thunder, thank you for the donation, my friend. Thank you for the $10 donation. I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit the like button. Get into the Patreon questions, then we're going to get people on. Yeah, Pete, good questions, man. Always good to talk to you, bro. If you have WhatsApp, send me your number because I want to send you voice messages, bro. Money Monkey. Yo, I love this name. And he has the Browns Elf logo on Patreon. I love this name, man. If you had to pick 2 straight bets this weekend, what are they? I'll put on both of them. Let's get this money. Are you talking money line or spread? Let me just type them to and just a question to the chat, because Wade Ford, thank you for the $10 donation. I really appreciate it, my guy. Really appreciate it. Can I just ask a question to you guys, since I got you in the chat? Bucks at Panthers over under 40.5. Am I crazy for loving this under? Like, listen, I could see a world and where Tom Brady gets to 30 points even though the Panthers got a pretty stingy defense. But I haven't put an over-under on Patreon this whole year, but that one is rather tempting to me. There are some really tempting over-unders this week. Am I crazy? I'm Bucks at Panthers under the 40.5. Let's see if Vegas moved it. Let's go see what they're doing. Vegas. Yeah, so Bears looks at +8 on some books. Steelers pushed up to +7.5 on some books. Okay, let's get to the totals. Okay, Bengals Falcons is the same total. It moved down to 39.5. I did feel it was possible. It could be like a 30-10 cover, but Eric Howell, thank you for the $5 donation, my guy. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it. PM says, Brady too distracted, bro, and Panthers can't score. Not crazy. And I just want to say, yeah, man, the donations really help. Just helps me get more equipment. So as you've seen, I upgraded everything this year finally, because for those who've been watching a long time, like the open cupboard was a little bit ridiculous. Matt says, I would do it if I wasn't 0-6 on them. Yeah. Dude, it's just like over-unders. I like doing them. I do the video to help people out, but it is something that I haven't dove in completely. And you only learn by betting it. You can put the games on your paper. You can type the YouTube comments and say who you're betting, but you only get better at betting when you have money in the game, unfortunately. Okay, let me get to some more Patreon questions. This is from Leo Belair. What's up, Leo? Hey, Money Law, anytime touchdown by a Steelers player who you like, give me Najee Harris makes sense. And the Steelers do have a lot of dudes injured. There is one player I'm thinking of specifically. Let me just see if he's on the injury report, because Kenny, it looks like Kenny will start, correct? Kenny seemed to have a good chemistry with him. Give me the tight end Howell move. If you don't like Najee Harris and you want some better odds, give me high move. I'm not saying his name right, but he's pretty damn good. He's pretty damn good. Okay. Johnny Gonzalez, what's up, bro? What's up, Johnny? I just wanted to make a note about your Lions upset pick. This is coming from an unbiased Cowboys fan. He really is an unbiased Cowboys fan. They do exist. At first glance, I agreed with the Lions covering. However, I remember last year teams coming off a bye week were awful. I know that was last year, but I just wanted to caution people on taking teams just because they had a bye week. It's never that simple. I do like the over in the game, and I'm considering playing it, although I try to stay away from Cowboys games. Good luck this week, everyone. I'll be in the chat during work. I echo this sentiment. I echo this sentiment completely, because no, we actually dove into this last year. We used anecdotal evidence of teams coming off byes, and we used past evidence and stats of teams coming off byes, and it came to it doesn't make a difference, and it shouldn't weigh into your decision making unless a team has injuries, lots of injuries. So I can completely echo that comment, to be completely honest. Thank you, Johnny. I hope you have a good day, my man. Shay Garcia. What's up, my G? What's up, Shay? What do you think of Lions, Cowboys over 36, or Lions +20, Giants +16, Falcons +15? Okay, I see it now. And sorry to tell you, but my Niners will beat the Chiefs. I'll be at the game. Should be a good game to go to. What do you think? I like the Lions, Cowboys over 36. I do like the Lions +20. Giants plus 16 makes sense. Colts plus 15. Falcons plus 19. I like it. What are you using? You're using like a 13-point teaser? I like it, man. Although maybe take that Lions one out of there. Even though I think the Lions cover, they did not show up against the Patriots. And I'm not trying to take credit away from the Patriots because they play some stingy defense, and Matt Patricia's been getting them with the right things on offense. But I was worried about the Lions against the Patriots, how they just didn't show up at all. But I do think they show up this week, so you should be good. Let's get to the next Patreon question. Shaw Moore. Hey, is Belichick making a mistake starting Mac Jones over Zappe? Has this caused the line to move? It hasn't caused the line to move yet. I didn't like them before, but with a rusty Mac Jones, I like it even less. Give me Bears money line all day. Sean Moore with the bold prediction. Bears money line, Monday Night Football against all odds. I like it, man. The money line, I'm not going to go that far. But my thing is, I never was one of those guys who felt like Zappe could be the next Brady, or he could replace Mac Jones, or that he's an upgrade on Mac Jones. But the dude's playing pretty decent football, and I'm not sure Mac Jones is 100%. And I'm not understanding the rush to get Mac back in there. Like, I know Mac had a lot of turnovers earlier this year, but I like the way he was playing. But those turnovers, the Patriots just can't afford it. And I think it does open things up to the Bears. Because the Bears, they're going to play their game. They're going to prod along. They're going to run it up the middle with Montgomery. They're not going to do a whole lot that is risky. So I feel like Mac Jones kind of gives the Bears a better chance. Even though I think Mac Jones is a better quarterback than Zappe, if you understand what I'm saying. It's just judging off what we've seen from Mac this year with how much risk he's been taking. I like it, man. I've liked the Bears +8 all week. I've been getting buried for it, but I'm not a Bears guy at all, and I don't like what I've seen from the Bears this year, but I'm going to go in on it. Gabriel Hammer, ready to make some money this weekend, Lawson. Season-long division winner parlay isn't looking too bad 6 weeks down. Colts, Vikings, Eagles, Bills, Bucks. Not looking too bad, man, especially with the Saints completely collapsing. They should have had an open chance for that NFC South. They really should have, man. Okay, let's get into more Patreon question. No, they are terrible. No, they are terrible, Keto. They are terrible. There is no understating it or trying to put lipstick on a pig. They are. But 8 points is a lot in this league. And Patriots, they've been putting up a lot of points, but I'm just saying, man, like, look at that Patriots team. Yeah, but Dal J, like, saying a -8 favorite is a money line lock. Like, I don't know if that's like even a thing to say. Justin Fields and Foxborough does scare me. But yeah, like, 8-point favorite's going to win the game. What, like 90% of the time, 95%? Yeah, well, my biggest problem with the Bears is their offensive line, and I think that's one reason why they're so conservative on offense. And like you said, they have no playmakers. That's the thing that worries me. Although they have been able to grind out games this year, like really grinding out games. This is from Jay Sup. What's up? What's up, Jay Law? Let's get this money. What's up, my man? Dolphins first half -4 might be my first half play of the week. Tua and the Finn should be fired up and come out hot. Yeah, I talked about this earlier, but I absolutely love this from you. Because the only risk for this is if Tua gets hit and the NFL just throws him out of the game because they want to protect him. Um, that's really because I do think the Dolphins start this game fast. I do think the Dolphins get at least a touchdown and a field goal in the first half, and then it's in the Steelers' court to see what they can do. And I want to just reiterate to the people joining now, make sure you hit the like button. But I just want to reiterate this Dolphins team was averaging what, 28, 30 points a game into his first three starts. They were slinging it, they were getting big, explosive plays, and they were no joke. I think the defense will respond this week. The defense just got worn down and beaten down against Minnesota. The defense did keep them fighting in that game for large periods of time. But when you got third string quarterbacks like Skylar Thompson, there's only so much you can do. I agree with that. This is from JSEP as well. Also, I have my best bet for week 8. I know you don't like betting a week in advance, but I knew I could get closing line value, so I fired on this heavy. Last night, after the CMC news, I bet Niners at +2.5 against the Rams. The line is now at +1. If you like the Niners, I would hurry to take this bet. And also, Rams really, really play bad against the 49ers in the regular season. Last year, we were able to get the Rams to beat them in the playoffs, but during the regular season, this Rams team does not look good against Shanahan. And also, I am more concerned about this Rams team than I am like the Bucks or 49ers. I'm not worried about the 49ers being 3-3 at all. I think they'll go to 3-4 after the Chiefs game, but I'm not worried about them. And I think long-term, McCaffrey is going to be colossal. I just don't think it means a lot this week. Really don't, man. Here we go. I got to go get some water and use the bathroom. I'll be right back. Hit the like button. Just give me like 2 or 3 minutes. Probably 2 minutes. Thank you. Hit the like button. Share the video. O jeito que você faz o rosto dela foi engraçado. Assim é como ela faz o rosto. I am. Okay, we're back. We're back. I speak Portuguese. I do understand Spanish, but I speak Portuguese. So it's a little bit different. A lot of the pronunciations are different, things like that. Okay, let's see. Let's see. I got to get to some more Patreon questions. Yeah, man. I appreciate everyone in the live chat, guys, bringing the energy tonight. Really appreciate it. What makes you feel so confident about the Chiefs winning? It's kind of funny how this game's the main game we're talking about. For me, man, the 49ers have serious injuries on the defensive line. We know Kinlaw's out. I'm not sure Armstead and Bosa are going to be healthy. And there's also injuries littered across the 49ers secondary. Last week, the defense actually kind of held strong against the Falcons, but the issue was fumble, return from touchdown, and then Jimmy G wasn't able to get things going. And when I look at the Chiefs' defense, I'm not as excited as other people about the Chiefs' defense by any means, but we have to give them credit. They are better than they were the last 2 years, and they can get pressure on the passer. Now, with Jimmy G, you never know what guy you're going to get because we know he has Debo. We know he has George Kittle. We know he's got Ayuk, and that's nothing to snub your nose at. But with that being said, there's not a lot downfield with them. Pretty much for them to get an explosive play, Debo Samuel has to take over. And I'll tell you what, man, this year from Mahomes, for me, it's been the best I've seen him in 3 years, man. This is the best I've seen Mahomes since 2 or 3 years ago. And I do think them missing Tyreek Hill has an effect. I do. And I'm not going to undercount that. But their offense does seem a little bit more balanced. Travis Kelce always seems to be open. And I think this game comes down to who's got the better quarterback. Now, that can all change if this 49ers D-line runs roughshod. Joe Tooney looks like he's banged up. Orlando Brown played absolutely terrible last week against the Buffalo Bills. But like I said, that's why this goes back to the injuries on the 49ers defensive line. I think they will have an effect. I think even if Bosa plays, the groin will have a little bit of an effect on his pass rush, and that's one thing the 49ers defense needs. Yeah, and I do feel like it is an under-the-radar D that the Chiefs have. I'm not excited about it as everyone else, but yeah, Rake, I remember you posting this before, and it's important because these games are complicated. These matchups are complicated, but at a certain point, we have to remember that, for instance, if the 49ers had a bye week this week, it would really, really help if you look at their injury report. And the team coming to play them next week after the bye week would probably be like, oh, shit, man, we got the 49ers. But a lot of times the bye week only helps a little bit, and this is a rhythm game. I would go McCaffrey with a lot of touches if we're looking forward into the season. I honestly don't even think they should try to play him Sunday because they'll just use him as a gimmick, and I don't know how much it'll help. Okay. Let's see. Send me an email if you want to come on, lalawson21@gmail.com. JSAP says also, could you talk about the Lions Dallas over? I just saw this now. I like it, man, because we saw what happened last time the Lions went out and played against the Patriots. It was absolutely pitiful. It was absolutely abysmal, and nothing worked right. Now, from what I understand, the Lions are getting these players back. Let me go double check the injury report. And someone correct me if I'm wrong, because these things change minute to minute. Here's what I'm looking at. DJ Chark's going to be out. But it seems like Swift's going to play. Josh Reynolds going to be back in there. And the most important part is St. Brown. Him and Hawkinson, they don't get down the field a lot. There's not going to be any 60, 70-yard plays, but they really work underneath. And I like this Lions offensive line. And I think that's the type of offensive line you need to compete with Dallas. This Dallas defensive line, they absolutely ripped the Commanders' offensive line out on the floor, man. They completely dominated and controlled that game as a unit. Just one example. That's why I feel like you need good offensive line play if you want to fuck with this Dallas defense. And I just do think that they get the play action going with Swift back, because Williams has been pretty decent this year. But come on, man. We know Swift is the main player at that running back position. And I also think the Cowboys are going to try to throw it a lot. Like, this is one thing no one's talking about. I feel like Kellen Moore has been a better coordinator when he had Cooper Rush than Dak Prescott. I feel like the Cowboys need to be a run-first team, work in the play action, throw it underneath, target CeeDee Lamb a few times deep if you want to take a shot. But with Dak Prescott, they're going to go back to the let's throw it 35, 40 times a game. Let's try to get it down the field to Dak. And that's what I see as a problem. And I think we see the Cowboys throw it a lot. And even though the Lions completely just capitulated against the Seahawks and gave up big run after big run against the Seahawks, they weren't that bad before that game against the run. So I think the Detroit Lions, they'll just say, listen, we got to stop the run. We're not going to be able to stop this pass, but let's stop the run. And I think this turns into a high-paced football game, like we've seen a lot of Lions games turn into that. That's where I'm at. A lot of this game's about pace, because this Cowboys defense is good. And we know when a good defense gets going, they can completely shut down the other team. But I think the pace of this game will be rather high. I see Spill. I think they have a chance to steal it. Yes, I understand we're a little bit emotional after they got absolutely bum rubbed by the Patriots before the bye week. We understand that. But a new week is a new week. Any path to victory for the Jets? Of course. Of course, there's a path to victory for them. They have to get Zach Wilson playing better. And we saw the Elijah Wilson situation. And that is one thing that I'm trying to say, man. They're not throwing it well. Zach Wilson hasn't looked good this year, and it could be a problem, especially against the defense that isn't going to go for your bullshit. I think the Jets have to do what they're doing, run the ball, run it and play action. They have to try to get it down the field. They got some good targets like Garrett Wilson. Davis is all right. They got two pretty decent tight ends. I feel like they can get it down the field if they use play action, because we know this Broncos defense isn't going to let them run the rock. On this Broncos defense, they stay focused the full game. They're not like Green Bay's defense where they'll take a series or two off and just get beat up. That's for the Jets. And the Jets defense, they might have some turnover opportunities. Russ does throw them out there. And then you got to take advantage of the turnover opportunities, because I can't see Zach Wilson get going. Yeah, I mean, if Russ doesn't play and Brett Rippon plays, I mean, this is anyone's game, man. Yeah, Brett Rippon plays. Yeah, I bet the Jets. But I think a lot of that Russell Wilson stuff is a little bit of fluff. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay, let's get to the Patreon question. Moneyline Repo. What's a better pick? Falcons to cover versus Bengals or Jets money line versus Broncos with Russ injuries and running back, cornerback injuries. Falcons to cover versus the Bengals. I do think that's the better bet. I think getting a +6.5 really helps in that game. And even though we won the bet with the Bengals last week, did any of you guys feel convinced? Did any of you guys feel like the Bengals are evolving in a positive form? I don't. There's just something off with the Bengals this year. We've been saying it all year. This is from Terry LeJoy. Been with you on Patreon for 3 years and don't remember ever having one of the Patreon picks a total. You're probably correct. You're very good at it, so wondering why. Also, what can you tell us about the Red Bridge in your video yesterday? Okay. So I live in a city in Brazil called Fortaleza. It's in a state called Ceará. So this is probably my last year moving. I live here with my wife, and we're thinking about moving down south in Brazil. We're in the Northeast right now. We're thinking about moving down south in Brazil, maybe like Rio de Janeiro, maybe more south than that. So she's lived in this city her whole life, and it's a very beautiful city. So every single week for the teaser video, I just want to show something I like or something that I think's cool about this city. That place is like an art center with lots of museums. It was built like 200 years ago. It's very, very cool. It's like a cultural center, but it's a tourist attraction in this city. And I am thinking about going with the over-unders. The problem is, like, Patreon is real shit. Every bet I post there, I actually have money on. And that's why the Patreon is good, because I live with it and I die with it. With the over-unders, I got to be honest, I don't bet a lot in my spare time with the over-unders. And that's one thing that has kind of stopped my development in them, because I need to take the hard losses and I need to take the big wins to fully get a grasp of it. But I'm thinking about going in this week with it because there's some over-unders I really feel like we got a good advantage on. Thank you for the question, Terry, and thank you for being on Patreon for 3 years, my man. I really appreciate it. This is from Canyon Wiz. Nice haircut, Lawson, but do you think the Chiefs line pushing down is public money coming in on the CMC move? I don't think so, but you never know. I think people are betting that the 49ers defensive line is getting healthy. I think that's the bet and why that moved down. And maybe Joe Thuney's injury for the Chiefs might have had some say about that. This is from Ray Rouse. What's up, Ray? Does McCaffrey make 49ers a Super Bowl look at plus 1,400? I think so. 49ers always had a good chance to me, in my opinion. They've always had a good chance to win it. So I actually think that wouldn't be the worst play in the world, although they do have to beat the AFC team. Okay. Yeah, Mike, let me send the invite now. Okay, here we go. Let's get to 1 second. Crew 60. I know you haven't said anything about the Commanders game, but this game should be canceled. What happened with it? Did I miss something, or is it just a terrible game? I don't know how many people are going to be watching that, even though Green Bay has a ton of fans. We'll see. I wish they would just put that on like a Tuesday night, because I actually kind of want to watch that, even though it's going to be horrific. Packers have been playing horrific, my man. And Michael, man, I'm sending a link right now. I'm replying to your email. Yeah, man. Okay. Yeah, hit the like button. Hit the like button. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Yeah. Brazil, dude, I thought you were in the backwoods of Georgia. When the podcast started getting big, I was working in South Carolina, but I lived in a place called Pooler, Georgia. And then I moved down to Florida. But I spent most of my life in the middle of New York. And then I've been down here for like a year. Yeah, probably a little bit more than a year. Yeah, I am. I'm thinking about it. That's like one of the two I'm thinking about. Because it just feels like that Raiders offense is going to get into the 30s. And we don't hate the Texans as much as other people do. And I think the Texans will be a decent dance partner. Can the Texans get to like 24, 21? Probably not. But can they get to 17 or 20? And can the Raiders get to like a 35, 30? Yeah, that's where I'm at. It's going to be a sweater, no doubt, but I got to go with Lauren Kaiser. You should come on. We've been talking about Christian McCaffrey the whole video, pretty much. Come on and say something about it. And Johnny Gonzalez, we got to get you on again, man. Next time you're not at work. Broncos, their pass rush just surprised me this year. Like, we all knew Bradley Chubb was good, but this Browning dude is an absolute dog. And Sauce Gardner, he's been damn good. You guys warned me. I'll give credit to the chat, to allow the chat people. You guys warned me around week 4, week 5. You guys said Reed and Sauce Gardner is absolute dynamite at the corner position. So I'll give you guys credit on that because they have been. And when you get a team like the Packers who doesn't have any dogs on the outside, if you got 2 damn good corners, it can really get to you. And I'm trying to get Michael Mann on because some people were asking about what are we going to do with Bucks at Panthers. That is a good question. I want to hear what he says because they might even start a different guy at quarterback. Like, I heard they might start Eason. Here we go. Sent you another one, Michael, man. Okay. Here we go. Yeah, no, it's Pepsi Black. It's just like the same as Diet Pepsi. It's just like a new brand they got. And they make Pepsi really, really cheap in Brazil because they're trying to get market share. I've always been a Diet Pepsi, Diet Mountain Dew guy. Unfortunately, here it's hard to get those products. So I'm normally on like the Coke without sugar. And guys, I know it's bad. I know it's bad. Here we go. Yeah. Okay, here we go. Jesus Areola, what made you move to Brazil? Thanks for all that hard work. Because one thing was, a lot of you guys struggle with it because you're like the same age. The house of costing in the United States really demoralized me. And like, I had jobs as like special education teacher, history teacher, coach football down in Florida in middle school, and I liked it, but I kept getting stressed just about how much it was to live on your own. Like, just to rent an apartment, rent a house. If you're in a good area where people want to live, the rent gets astronomical. And that problem has only amplified in the United States since then. And I used to always visit Brazil, visited Brazil like 4 times. And then my wife's from Brazil, so it's comfortable here. Like Brazil is not for everyone. It's not for beginners. There's some serious problems here. I see suffering every day that I don't want to see. But then again, I can live a higher quality lifestyle here, and I can just make videos and make bets, and I don't have to do anything I'm not qualified to do. If you understand what I'm saying, I just that it's good, man. And with YouTube, and the bets, I'm able to have a good life. Nothing extravagant, no Lambos or anything like that, but able to have a good life. And that's all I want. I just want to live simple. I don't want to have to spend 80 hours working just for one bedroom hole to crawl into. Michael Mann, how you doing?
Hey, boss, I'm doing okay. How are you?
Oh, dude, I'm doing fantastic. So let's just get right into it. Christian McCaffrey traded to the traded from the Carolina Panthers to the 49ers. Are you happy for him?
I'm happy for him. Yes, I'm very happy for him. I'm glad he got out of here. It was time that he got. I'm glad he finally has his time to now shine and have a chance at getting a ring. From the Panthers' perspective, it was a hard decision, but probably the right one. I mean, you need as much resources as you can for this new coach and this new regime that's going to come in here next year. And I think this trade pretty much guarantees that you're going to get the number 1 overall pick.
I think so too, and especially some of these other bad teams, they actually don't seem to be as bad as we thought. Like my 2 thoughts for number 1 overall pick before the Panthers was Bears and Seahawks, and we're seeing they're going to scrap and steal. They're going to get to 4, man, 4 or 5. Hawks might get to 7, 8. So that's already out of the door. That's good for you.
I worry about Washington though. Washington could steal it. I could see them coming in here at the end and just tanking it away.
Yeah, and plus they're dirty.
Yeah, for sure.
No, like they're like a really dirty franchise. Mm-hmm. And I'm not, you've been talking to me about football for 5 years, man. I'm not one of those guys to shovel stuff on Dan Snyder, but damn, like they will do something like Stephen Ross did with Brian Flores.
Oh no, for sure. It's worse than that. It's way worse than that. What happened with the Dolphins was nothing compared to what Snyder's been pulling there for the last 10 years. The only difference is Snyder gets away with it, and he makes sure that crap doesn't get leaked out to the public.
Yeah.
I have a lot of, especially now, living near DC, I have a lot of friends who are a fan of the Commanders, as they're known now, who are fans of the Commanders, and they'll just tell you this dude is a nasty dude.
Yeah, and I remember one video last year when I was doing a Commanders or football team pick. I was like, the stadium's falling, and it's literally was falling. But yeah, it's just to go back to the Panthers, man. I actually felt like they got a good haul. I know some people are going to say, "Oh, bro, they didn't get enough." I thought it was good enough, and it's going to and now we're hearing Sean Payton there. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but you need to give him assets so he can play with it.
If Sean Payton came to Carolina, listen, it would be unpopular because a lot of Panthers fans hate him. I would swallow it and just take it. I mean, if Sean Payton
gets get over themselves. Sorry to cut you off, but people got to get over themselves. He's a football coach. He's not your friend.
I think it's a lot of it, first off, the fact that he coached with the Saints for as long as he did. I mean, that's a 10-year, 15-year hatred right there. And then the whole Bounty Gate thing where there's legit evidence of him telling players to go hurt Cam Newton. So I know a lot of Panthers fans would be salty about that. I would swallow my pride. You know how much I respect Sean Payton. If bringing in Sean Payton gets me a ring, I will take it.
But you know how this league is.
Saints will never do it.
And we know how this league is, and we know how people talk in these locker rooms. Dude, Bountygate was crazy.
Yeah.
The only thing I think is more worrying about Sean Payton is the prescription pill stuff. I'm not trying to shovel dirt on his name. That actually happened. He was stealing pills out of you heard that, correct? I'm not crazy, right?
I have not heard that actually. That's the first I've heard of it.
Well, he's got okay, I'll get Lauren on right now, but let's just finish the story. So he was in trouble. He got caught because you remember when the opiate crisis was happening in the United States, and then like they started shining more of a light onto like to the NFL, the Toradol use, the prescribing prescription like opiates. So Sean Payton got caught up he got caught stealing pain pills from the team doctor. And then that got swept under the rug. Also, there was some rumors. Now, this is just rumors. This is obviously nothing that's been reported. You know, remember when the Saints trained in West Virginia? Everyone thought, maybe this a little bit odd? Doesn't make much sense. Well, some people think it was to support that addiction. I'm not sure. I have no idea, but that's what it was.
That was a nice little tangent for the stream.
Oh,
we
yeah.
were talking about how the Panthers suck, and then we went on Sean Payton on opioids trend.
Yeah. Well,
what did I miss? Like, I just got, like, I don't know how much of the show I've missed today, but I think I hit the wrong Streamlab.
We were talking about the idea of Sean Payton going. I have another question for you, by the way, Lauren, but we were talking about the idea of Sean Payton to Carolina. We both know it'll never happen, but it's just the idea.
Never do it.
Yeah, no way. I mean, I would love if y'all did it. I'd love it. Like I would give you our entire draft class to make that happen, but it's not going to happen.
Well, first of all, you guys had to get some picks back because you gave up your left and right arm to get Sam Darnold last year, and then who might be starting, right? And
I hope so. I can't watch any more PJ Walker and Jacob Eason, man. Like, dude, Sam Darnold has never gotten more hype in his career than he's getting right now. Sam Darnold is going to be praised like a hero when he comes on that field for Carolina in a week or two.
Kind of miss
PJ Walker's starting.
I miss when Lawson calls him Sam Darnell. That's what I miss.
Oh, yeah.
I'm saying we know Darnell. And I was like, last year when I was like, who's Darnell? I'm like papers. I'm like, who's Darnell? I'm like,
good times.
That's
I was like, he was actually playing good at that point too.
I know. I'm like, who's Darnell? And I'm like, wait a minute, it's Darnold. Okay. What do you think, though?
Yeah, I'm with this.
I feel bad for y'all, but it was probably the best move for him. You know, I'm really shocked Buffalo didn't make a bigger push for him. Not that they really need him. Well, anybody could need CMC, but I mean, if Buffalo would have got him, hand it over. Just hand it over.
My breakdown of it, like, it sucks, but it's the right move. It really is. I mean, you know, by the time the Panthers are ready to compete again, Christian McCaffrey's going to be like, what, 27, 28? That's like flirting with the age of running back. Off, like, you know, even like, let's say like at earliest, I think we could be competitive sometime like around middle of next season because we actually get a good back and like get surrounds of talent around him. And by like, is Christian McCaffrey really going to be healthy for that long? So
is Christian McCaffrey going to be healthy the rest of the season?
Exactly. Yeah.
I'm saying I'm rolling dice because like Lauren, you know, with Jimmy, he hasn't been playing good like this year, like he normally. Like, not that Jimmy's ever really good, but
he wins games.
Say that again.
He wins games.
You win games.
Might not play great,
but you win games with him, not because of him.
I'm a little bit concerned with how they've been playing this year.
Yeah, I am too.
Oh yeah, they got their butt whooped by the Falcons last week.
Oh my god.
I've seen the line for the San Francisco Kansas City game go down ever since McCaffrey got traded there. We're at the point now where we can start debating Kansas City as a money pick. Because if it's like, I think it's like 3 or 2.5 right now, go Kansas City all the way. Because San Fran played like crap last week, and they're coming in here limping without Nick Bosa, without 2 other people on their D-line.
Nick Bosa's injured. Is Nick Bosa still out?
He's likely to play, but he could very well miss the game.
With a groin injury and like Armstead's out, Kinlaw's going to be out. Maybe Armstead and Bosa play, but I still feel like there's too many injuries.
Somebody's got first toe. I don't even know.
It's Friday. Like, what's McCaffrey going to do in 2 days to learn this playbook? Like, he's just going to be a
decoy. I'll tell you what, though. You mark my words. They throw him in on some sort of goal line BS.
How much money? How much money you can
punch it in? Watch.
Well, they should use him as a receiver. How much money are you willing to bet that Christian McCaffrey's literally going to be meeting his offensive line in the huddle? Like, it's a fair bet at this point. Like, and seriously, that's how soon this is all happening.
He'll be there for practice tomorrow. He'll be there for practice tomorrow.
They're not going to have practice tomorrow. It's Saturday. They're traveling, right? Or is it in San Fran?
No, it's in San Fran.
Oh, okay. Well,
it's just not enough time, and like they shouldn't even try to rush it.
No, I agree.
No, but you know how the coach is there. You know how he is.
So, Lauren, what's your pick for this game? Because like I'm not changing my opinion about the Chiefs.
You got the Chiefs?
Yeah.
It's gonna be. God, this game sounds so trappy to me. It just sounds. The more and more as this week goes on, is it 3 or 3.5?
It's down to 2.5.
Down to 3.
1.5 on some. 2, 1.5. It moved down.
It's almost a pick 'em.
No, it's pretty much like people on Patreon are going crazy about it, pulling their hair out.
I heard that section when I was driving on here. Why?
Well, you read some of the comments. Like,
I know.
Listen, like line movement happens, and most of the time we're getting shafted by line movement. Like, if anything, this helps.
You cause line movement. Like,
he does.
I'm pretty sure you cause line movement, bud.
I'll tell you what, though.
Go ahead.
San Francisco at home with. If you got it early with 3 points or whatever, I'm not opposed to that. I don't like the push factor at 3.
No, I agree. And like Lauren, that's why I'm not panicking about it, because either the Chiefs come out, they play good, win by like 7-10 points. If it's close, man, San Fran probably will win it, but I don't know how close it's going to be. I'm worried about San Fran's D-line. That's where I'm at.
I also think that Andy Reid's going to be going hard this week too, because I don't think he wants to lose to 2 top-tier teams in the NFL in back-to-back weeks. He's going to bring his A game for this performance.
Yeah, kudos to the Bills because we were on them last week, but San Fran fought hard. That's always a good, game to watch. I'm kind of depressed it wasn't on primetime, but I mean, here's the thing. San Fran shows up at the most awkward times and show down at the most inopportune times. Does that make any sense to anybody? So
yeah, it does.
It does.
2 years ago or 3 years ago, I lost in week 15 of my Survivor. Atlanta went in to Levi Stadium and beat the 49ers twice in one
I
game.
remember that.
They won, took the touchdown back, took the touchdown again. I made it to my Survivor to week 3, and this is when there was only 17 weeks. Week 15 because Atlanta. I had San Francisco going to the Super Bowl that year.
Atlanta, of all teams,
they've ruined. Atlanta has ruined.
They beat us. Hey, we were like 14-0, and they beat us. So
that's what I'm saying.
Okay, we need to talk about this game though.
So what I'm saying is, like, San Fran, for as far as I can remember, they show up royally. Like, they beat the pants off the Rams earlier this year. You know what I mean? And not that the Rams, you can compare them to KC, but, something seems very trappy about this game, and it seems like I want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, they kind of own the Rams though. But we should talk about this Carolina-Tampa game because I see people.
Yeah, because that's a lot. How many is that now?
It's up. People are saying it's up to 13.
13, baby. New high.
13.
The tank is on.
I don't know why I don't know why a running back is causing this much line movement. They say running backs don't matter, even though I think they do. But
let me tell you this. So last week against the
14?
Rams. Last week against the Rams, the Panthers offense put up a smacking 220 yards. Guess how many of those yards Christian McCaffrey had?
Probably 180.
258, which is like God tier for running back. So that's why it's down to -13. But no, and honestly, I'm all for it. I think Bucks will win by at least 14 points. I mean, this Panthers offense is absolutely
Here's the thing, though. Hold on a second. Chuba Hubbard and Deontay Foreman are there. They'll find some ways to do. Yes, they will.
Chuba Hubbard is a drop or fumble waiting to happen.
Hold on.
They won't even. The Panthers coaching staff is so stupid. They're not even going to play Deontay Foreman.
Wait a minute, though. Who has Tampa beaten by more than 5 points all year?
It's the Panthers, though. We've lost to everyone by more than 5 points since like week 4. We beat you guys, and then we forgot. Yeah, we played you guys, and we forgot how to play football.
So, like, I'm going to take Tampa in my Survivor because I haven't used them yet. So, I'm definitely taking Tampa in my Survivor this week because I still have them, and I guess it's the most opportune time. Watch me get knocked out. But I don't know if I trust Tampa beating anybody by that. Now, they should. They should probably win by 30. Really, realistically, they should win like by over 20. But holy shit!
You have not. I don't think you've watched enough of the Panthers. I don't think you truly appreciate how. I don't think you truly appreciate how bad we are right now. Like, it's bad.
I mean, we're so bad right now. I'm having a hard enough time watching our games, and you want me to stomach watching yours?
Go ahead, Lawson.
I just watched the Panthers last game last night, and they didn't even throw it over like 2 or 3 yards. I'm not exaggerating.
Yes, you're dead ass serious. They did not attempt 1 5-yard plus pass.
No,
like they literally threw screens.
TJ Walker or whatever.
Yes, who's a gunslinger, by the way. Like, his whole MO was throwing it deep. So of course we're gonna run the ball and not throw it more than 5 yards the entire game. Like, they are tanking, and they are making it very clear that they are tanking. I don't know if we're gonna win another game all year. I really don't.
Well, you're going for the number 1 draft pick.
Oh yeah, we got that crap clinched at this point.
Well, I mean, there's always the tank of Jacksonville, so you can don't.
I hope they.
Don't be surprised of the tank of Jacksonville,
Jacksonville's got 3 wins. That we got a good lead on them right now.
Yeah, well, Jacksonville really could lose out the rest of the year.
So Lauren,
starting with this week.
So like I got Panthers to somehow cover this, although like
what
13. 13?
Yeah,
like,
I think it's too much, and it's not worth betting the
divisional
at this point.
A divisional game at 13? It would just be the same as if Christian McCaffrey was injured like last year, the whole year,
and
right?
Here's another thing too: the Bucks. So we've played Tom Brady 4 times, and I don't think we've had a game closer than 14 points against them. Like, we've gotten whooped by at least 14 points every time we've played in the last 4 years. We cannot figure them out.
Yeah,
that's why you need Sean Payton.
Yeah, give us Sean Payton.
And let me tell you something. And somebody was asking me in the chat about the Saints. Yes, I had the Saints last week against Cincinnati, and I was against Lawson, and I lost. They were winning the whole freaking game. And if Sean Payton was the coach, they would have kept that, and they would have won. So they would have won. But I'll tell you what, Joe Burrows, I was afraid of him being on his ass, and he was on his ass quite a bit last week, but he found Jamar Chase at the end. Kudos, because everyone knows I love Cincinnati too. So, kudos to them for pulling out that win. I don't know what happened to that team last night. God, hopefully we'll get the number 1 pick.
I thought Pete Carmichael actually called a very good game last night. But yeah, that was actually a good game, though.
It was the best Thursday night game we've had all year.
Yeah,
right.
No, it was actually good. That first half was good.
We're not putting it up against much, but yeah. But at least it was exciting,
So to change the focus, I want outsiders' opinions on this one. Monday Night Football, Bears +8 at the New England Patriots. Looks like Mac Jones will start. Any opinions on it?
I am staying away.
Mac Jones is starting?
Yeah, they made it official. Believe so. Yeah.
I'd like to know how that's going to affect the spread.
I like the over on Jacoby Myers for catches and yards. I'll start with that. And did anybody follow me with Juwan Johnson last night, the tight end for over 25 yards?
Yeah, you scraped that at the end.
Yeah.
From what I read on Patreon, a lot of people took those player props.
Yay! I've been trying to find like one or two a week. Huh?
What, Lawson?
I was happy. Well, just because
I
we
took
did
yours.
the player props on Patreon last night. She posted one.
I took yours.
So
I
actually hit them all.
Yeah, I went 3 for 3 because I took your 2 and mine, and I hit all 3 of them.
Yeah.
I had Benjamin and DeAndre Hopkins in fantasy last night.
Yeah, me
20
too.
points each. Was so happy this morning, and then I heard about the CMC trade and just ruined it.
Well, and let me tell you, not only did I have Benjamin and D-Hop, I had to find it. Tyler Higbee's out this week for a bye. So I had to quickly I went and grabbed Juwan Johnson and I threw him in there. He got 22 points.
That's good for a tight end.
Yeah. So as far as this Patriots. I mean, is the total going to be like 11? I mean, 15, something obnoxious like that. Is anyone even going to score? That's a lot of points. That's a lot of points for two teams that do a lot of running, I think, right?
That's what I was saying.
For two teams that do a lot of running. Is it 8?
The only thing that scares me is that the Bears could turn this over a whole lot. Like the Bears could have a couple turnovers that kills a spread.
And so Fields.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying the Bears will have turnovers Fields that will shift the game in the Patriots' favor.
Yeah, I just
don't see how the Bears' offense moves the ball.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know about both of those teams are almost like so stagnant. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of running. Well, now that Mac is back, if Bailey Zappi was still in there, no.
I wouldn't want to take out a hot hand. And
I think Mac's coming back too early.
Yeah, because if it's the high ankle sprain, if we believe like the injury diagnosis, then he's coming back at the earliest timetable possible. So.
And that's a high ankle sprain for a quarterback, the most volatile, player that's going to play every play. It's not like it's a wide receiver that's going to be out there as a decoy, or he's going to either be, whether he's handing it off or throwing it or running it himself. Mac Jones does running. He runs himself too. So, that's a pretty big injury, I think, for him to be coming back already. So I guess I'm going to go with you on that with the 8. I don't know. I don't.
The thing with the Patriots, it's difficult because they blew out the Lions. They played really good against the Browns, but I don't know. I'm not sold on it. I might have to eat crow on it when it comes to next week, but I don't think they're that good a team.
Should be a good game, though, nonetheless.
I think it will be, actually.
Speaking of a team that needs to show up this week, Detroit better find a way to beat Dallas.
I hope so.
Otherwise, Dan Campbell's in danger.
Do we not think that could happen?
No, I've been saying it all week. I'm getting nervous and a little bit gun shy about it because I like teams that try to play defensive football. But I think this Lions offense can stay with them. Although off bye week, we'll see how that affects it. Swift is back. That should help. But Cowboys, listen, I actually like their recipe for winning games with Cooper Rush better. Not even saying Cooper Rush is close to Dak, but I just like the recipe better, running the football, letting the defense win games. I think they change a lot, but we'll see.
I think in order for Detroit to win this game, they need to make this a shootout. They need to get this over 20 points early and force Cooper Rush or Dak or whoever the heck they throw out there to get in a shooting match with them. You
want to hear my off the wall big dog this week? Not big dog, but I think that's going to cover.
Who?
Say it, Lawson. The no names.
Oh, the no names? I mean, it's up for grabs. Like, you got to think Heineke is going to be a positive influence, even though, like, I didn't like what Ron did last week to Carson Wentz. That
was terrible. But
yeah, no, and it's not even relevant. If he was right about it, I would just say, okay, Ron, but it wasn't relevant. Like,
so Green Bay,
he just did it on his own. Like, it wasn't even asked.
Yeah, Green Bay is not playing well. They're just not. Washington, their defense is not bad at all by any means. So Brian Robinson, this new rookie kid, the one that got shot, he's now back. This will be like his second game or whatever. This is my upset of the week. My upset of the week is the Washington no names.
No, you know what? I actually agree with you. Like, I could very easily see a scenario where they win, but
I already placed it.
I think it would be more about the Packers sucking and the problems they have more than Washington.
They have a lot of problems. They have a lot of problems. I think that, they've got injuries up the wazoo as well. My grandmother used to say that, up the wazoo. They got injuries.
Go ahead.
And they're fine. And they're just not good this year. Can we just for once say the Packers are just not good this year? They're just not good.
They haven't shown it yet. The only thing that scares me about this game, though, is that Ron Rivera, I learned this the hard way as a Panthers fan. Ron Rivera absolutely hates man press coverage, which is exactly what you have to do to beat the Packers.
Yeah.
You have to press up those receivers and play man to man. And if Ron just goes out there and tries to play cover 3, Aaron Rodgers could tear that apart.
Well, and I think Taylor Heineke is going to be a little bit more mobile than Carson Wentz.
That's a good sign.
And I think, isn't Taylor Heineke kind of famous for beating and keeping it close against these legends? Like, didn't he beat Tom Brady one week a couple years ago when he came in? So he doesn't have that like mentality where like I'm just supposed to lose. He gives it his all the whole game. The one thing about Heineke is last year he didn't have a good year, nor did he have a good team, but he does not quit. So
no, he doesn't. Washington fans love them.
They love him. Yeah. And I think we're pretty close to getting Chase Young back for that team. So that's going to help them, maybe help you so that they don't steal the number 1 pick.
Yes.
Yeah, so my upset of the week, if you guys really want it, is the Washington Commanders. I'm kind of throwing up as I'm saying it, but I think that's my upset to cover.
Yeah, and that makes sense. And like this comment actually makes sense because Packers, like if you look at their front 7, they got some really good players. But I mean, I'll just read this comment. Salah said if we lean on them enough, we knew they would quit, referencing Packers run defense. They are soft. They really are soft. Like what the Bears did to them was a good lesson. And Vikings haven't been running the ball too good this year. They got them. But it makes sense. And what Mike said about Washington's defense is actually really true, though, because they like sitting back so much, and doing that against Rodgers that's what he wants to do. He just wants to throw it short.
That's suicide against Rodgers.
And Heineke will make, like, I don't think we've really seen a big game out of Terry McLaurin yet. And I think this might be the week you do with Heineke coming in. And you also will see, I think you'll see them score a little bit more than they have, in the past. So whether or not they stop Rodgers, I just think they'll be able to keep pace with them. So I think 5.5 is too much.
I agree. I think ever since the Packers choked against the Giants, that the formula of how to play them defensively has been out.
Can't we just give
it's clear to how to be
props to the Giants this year? Why has everyone got a tank against them? Can't they just be a little bit better, a lot better this year? Saquon Barkley is healthy. Dimes, I think, knows he's in a
Dimes.
Danny Dimes knows he's in a do it. Can't we just, as Lawson would say, tip the fedora to the Giants this year? They're not. Everyone has to choke against them. They beat Baltimore. They beat the Green Bay. You know what I mean? Like, they actually are doing well. Like, I think they're, because it's been so long, right? It's been so long. And New York is just so ecstatic right now. Like, they've got Jets at 4. So what are they? 5-1 and 4. So as a total, New York is 9-3.
I remember a few years ago when they were like 0-9 together, like entering week 5.
Or 0-14.
That's funny.
Yeah.
No, a few years ago, yeah. But no, I agree with you. Props to them. They kind of remind me.
And I got the Giants this week too.
I do too.
Yeah.
I think the reason they get so much hate is because they're winning games close, and that kind of keeps people out of like keeps people from thinking that they are real contenders, which may be a fair point. Like they kind of remind me of the Lions team. Like this was 2016 that made the playoffs with Stafford, but they won like 8 games by 1 score or something like that. Like they were just really good in 1-score games, and that's how the Giants kind of are this year.
So here's what I think too. I think if the Giants were to go out to Vegas and play in Vegas, they would be an underdog against a team that's won one game.
Oh yeah,
that's how much they get discredited. They do not get any credit, even when they're decent.
Do you think they would beat Vegas though?
Yeah, I do.
Oh,
Who is?
No.
Yeah, like that's the thing.
One game.
I could see the Giants losing.
But go on, Mike.
Like I mean, there's some bad teams that I think could beat the Giants. Like Carolina's trash, and they beat us by like 3 points.
Carolina probably should have won that game.
Yeah, Graham Gino had to kick like a 60-yard field goal to beat us. Like we really should have beat them, but whatever. But all I'm saying is like bad teams have competed with them and nearly beat them.
Baltimore
kind of know. Although like Baltimore this year, they've been up and down. Like we're in a league where we haven't got much consistency. I think this is what I'll say about the Giants. They're pretty consistent week in and week out, and you know what you're going to get. That's why they might have a chance against Vegas, but Vegas is going to have the line makers going to have Vegas like -5, -4.5.
Yeah, if they were to go out there, and they're a 1-win team. So, I'm just saying they're not getting, and I get the fact that Vegas has been in some close games. They've played some tough, teams, but Vegas, if it's one thing that I said 4 weeks ago, is they can screw up a wet dream. They will find a way to lose.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, for me, like I'm trying to remember the Giants schedule because they beat the Packers, they beat the Ravens, they lost to the Cowboys.
They beat Tennessee.
Yeah.
I'm looking it up now. They beat us.
But the AFC West isn't really what we thought it would be, but that's besides the case.
I mean, and I'll be honest with you, speaking of Tennessee, I'm on Indy this week.
Well, tell us why.
Jonathan Taylor's back, and I think that I'm going to go with the points. I think it's close. It's like, 2.5 maybe? I think it might be, right? Isn't it like 2.5?
Yeah, it's down to 2.5.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on Indy. I think that I think Matt Ryan has thrown for like over 300 yards the last 2 games. Maybe he has something with this new wide receiver of his. And I don't see anything out of Tannehill that's going to make me feel like he's going to be able to pull it out. I just don't. So,
okay, I'll tell you why. I'm going with Tennessee. Change
my opinion.
I don't know if I'll be able to change it because some of what you said is like relevant. What you said is relevant is about Matt Ryan passing. I'm not loving their pass game, but Tennessee has issues back there. Like I think they're 31 in pass defense, although we know sometimes that doesn't matter, but we've known Tennessee's vulnerable back there for like 3-4 years. But my issue with the Colts in this game where I'm going Tennessee is Colts can't stop the run. And when you got DeForest Buckner up front, I'm not understanding why we're seeing third-string running backs for Jacksonville break off 70-yard runs. Etienne looked like a young Marshall Faulk against the Colts. I give the Colts credit for bearing down and winning that game against the Jags, but that's why I had to agree with you about the Giants. I think some of these issues are with the Jags. But like I said, like if you can't stop the run, King Henry's the wrong guy to be playing. But,
and Jonathan Taylor's on the other side. So
yeah, but I think we've seen something that is kind of crazy with the Colts the last 2 weeks. They've kind of transformed into a passing team. Now, Jonathan Taylor is going to be back, or is he out? That's one thing I haven't looked up yet.
He is back. I'm pretty confident he's playing, but I'm not,
because he's not on the injury report. That should help. But we'll see how good the ankle is, and we'll see how good the O-line pushes. Because one of the most crazy storylines of this whole year for me has been the lack of offensive line play for them. I don't quite understand that.
Yeah, and they were supposed to be like top 5. They really were. And that's obviously not happening. But And I think a lot of this game determines the AFC South winner, really, right here.
Oh, I agree. I was hoping the Jags would get into the mix, but doesn't look like it's going to.
They might ruin Michael's chances at a first round. I'm telling you right now, at the number 1 pick, the Jags could lose out and ruin it for you.
Hey, you know what though? So whoever just said that, I think is a good point. The AFC South is so bad. One of those teams will choke a game, whether it's the Titans or the Texans. One of them will blow it, and we'll get the number 1 overall pick.
No, because just I'll say this before we move on to a different game, unless you got something to add. But like I was really low on the Titans going into the season, and I'm shocked that they look like they might win it.
That division is just trash.
Yeah, it's trash. No, it is. But Colts should have been, man. Like Colts are wasting a golden opportunity, and I know they invested in some of the wrong.
And who was supposed to be trash this year? The NFC East was supposed to be trash.
Our division's kind of trash too, to be honest.
Oh, our division is and absolutely. And to be honest with you, with Carolina, Atlanta, Tampa, I don't even know who's in first place. Is it Atlanta? Let's be honest with you. Nobody's running away with that division.
Could Atlanta win this division? Could Atlanta win this division? I mean, I feel like they're definitely playing the best football out of any team in this division.
I think it's wide open, to be honest with you. I think anybody could win this division.
I think we're out of it. Sorry, honey. I think you and I are out of this division. We're not winning
Saints might be done. Although a Saints run wouldn't be the most. I wouldn't be shocked, but I don't know what's going on with Jameis. And
if he gets healthy,
Atlanta need to get him back in there.
So my point really is, I don't think Tampa's running away with this division. Is where I'm going.
Oh no, they're in their own way more than anything else.
I think because they're supposed to be the favorite, right? They're supposed to be the favorite to win, and I just don't feel like they're running away with it like they should be.
I think they'll get on track though.
Yeah, I mean they could. They could. They're supposed to.
The Panthers will help them out this week by throwing like 3 interceptions and giving them the win. So
I have another bet that I love. I'm on the over for Houston and Vegas.
Yeah, we talked about that early. I liked it. But tell us why you like it.
I like it over 45. I think it's a great matchup for Damian Pierce to be running. I think it's a great matchup for Devontae Adams against Houston secondary. I think Pierce is going to have a lot of rushing scrimmage yards. He's just going to have, I'd take him over whatever the hell the yardage is right now in the prop. I'd take him over whatever it is. Devontae is probably going to have a big game. I think last week's punishment they got, 2 weeks ago against the Chiefs, their unsettling, gross loss. They've had a week off now. So I do feel like they're going to win, but I don't feel like it's going to be a blowout win. I think that this is going to be a high-scoring game, and, maybe it's a 1-score win.
Yeah.
But over 45, I'll take it. I'll take it over 47 or 8. Really?
I think Raiders can get into the 30s.
Oh, God. And I think Houston will be in the 20s. So, I don't – because, Vegas doesn't stop anybody, really. You can score on Vegas. They're going to score, but you can score on them too. So that's why I think 45, this is way too low. Way too low.
No, and Lawson, you're always saying it, but these 1-score games in the fourth quarter tend to push games to go to the over. It's cliche, but it's true. It's a fact. And this could be one of those scenarios. The Texans have been fighting hard this year.
And overtime. There's a lot of overtime going on this year too. That just kills anybody's under. So,
Seriously.
Yeah, you might as well kiss it goodbye. So, I'm on the over there. I really want to take Tampa minus whatever the hell it is, but that scares me.
Bet the under for the Carolina Tampa game.
The under?
Yes, whatever. Isn't it like 40 right now?
You guys won't even score?
Oh.
You don't even
score?
Well, it was a money pick when it was at 40.5 for me. I might still have to do it.
I still think it's a good under because say what you will about the Panthers offense, but the Panthers defense has legit been playing very well this year, and no one's talking about them. They're probably sorry, Lauren, but they're better than the Saints defense right now. They've been playing that well, but they're getting absolutely no help from the Panthers offense. So, like, I could see, like, a 24-13 scenario, 37 total, and this going under. Because the Panthers offense won't score up.
The Saints offense is what's keeping them in games, not their defense this year. We're scoring.
With Andy Dalton at quarterback. The Saints defense has sucked this year.
No, the Saints defense is not what if we had the Saints defense of last year with the Saints offense of this year with Chris Olave and Jarvis and all that shit, we'd be doing great. But no, they can't. There's no balancing factor with this team. None.
So, go on.
I'm just saying there's no balance. You can't. There's this team is cursed. Since the Minnesota Miracle, this team has been cursed.
At least you made the playoffs. I want to hear it.
Yeah.
I have yet to see my team make the playoffs in my adulthood.
Oh,
no, it's been a while for the Panthers. All right, so last word, what's your best bet of the week? Was that your best bet of the week? Because I got to go use the bathroom. So.
Mine?
Yeah.
I like the over in the Houston-Vegas game. I like Indy, and I like the no-names to cover. And part of me so much of me wants to jump on Giants because I feel like they're the better team. I don't like threes, though. I don't like push options. So that makes me nervous. And what's my other one? I'm staying the hell away from that Kansas City game. I don't want anything to do with it. There's too much rigmarole going on over there. So I'm going to stay away from that one. And I don't I want to stick with you on Chicago, I think, but God, that makes me want to throw up. But yeah, so if you really want my three, I like the over in the Vegas Houston game. I like Indy, and I like the no names to cover, and I'm on Denver if Wilson plays.
All right, so I'll try to make this quick here. I like the Chiefs against the Niners. I like them to cover that spread. I like the Bucks, Panthers under, and I like the Bucks to beat the Panthers by more than 13.
Did you say 30? And more than 30?
13.
Oh.
They might be us by 30. I wouldn't be surprised.
30. I was like, 30? What is the line now?
They might be this by 30. I wouldn't put it past us. If our defense just has a bad day and doesn't show up, they might as well beat us by 30.
If Jeremy gets food poisoning or something, you might as well just forget about it. Oh, God, guys.
Denver all in. That's bold.
Denver. I like Denver to win this week, I think. I mean, the Jets are so sneaky good, though, right now. Breece Hall is good, but the Denver defense is really good.
What's the spread on that game? Because whoever wins that game is going to win by like 3 points.
It's Denver -1.
Oh, so -1.
That's it?
Yeah.
It's only 1 now?
It's open at Denver -3.
That's what I thought it was. It is 1.
Yeah,
it is 1.
Down.
I kind of like it even more now.
Is that game in Mile High?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Then I'll take
tough place.
Yeah. Dude, no, like people don't talk about it enough.
It's really underrated.
Denver's probably the hardest place to play in the NFL.
I feel like I'm the only one who talks about it.
Dude, no,
it is. It's like medical data. Like it's go on, yeah. Man.
Before I head off to poker, can I get one person's opinion on the Cincinnati Atlanta game? That's at 6.
I'm staying away from that.
I do feel like it's a bit of a trap. So I see what Mike's saying, but I'm thinking Falcons +6.5 because everything we said about Cincinnati, even though I got it right last week, everything we've been saying about Cincinnati this whole year is true.
Were you sweating that one last week? You should have been sweating that one.
Oh, I was sweating. I almost thought it was over. When Andy Dalton's converting 3rd down and 13 after 3rd down and 13, like 3 or 4 in a row, you kind of throw in the towel mentally. But yeah, like this Falcons team, I think they're going to run the ball. And DJ Reader out for the Bengals. I think he's on injured reserve. That's an issue for me. It does feel like a trap, and Bengals got the big plays going. But, the Falcons are not going to give you big plays. And
the game is in Cincinnati, right? Yes, the game is in Cincinnati. In Atlanta, have they not covered this year at all?
No, they're the opposite. They've covered every spread this season.
That's what I'm saying. They've covered every single. They have never not covered the double.
I like the Falcons to cover. I'm not picking a winner. That's where I'm staying away.
Yeah, Falcons covered.
The Falcons have low key been like really pretty decent this year.
No,
and if the Bucs hadn't gotten some ref ball, the Falcons could very easily be like 4-2 in the top team in this division at the moment.
No, they would have came back in that game. I completely agree.
Yeah. The Falcons are a good team, at least a solid team, if nonetheless.
And lastly, because somebody asked, just I think in the chat, I don't know about Miami giving 7 to Pittsburgh. I don't care if it's Tua or Teddy or whatever T you got going on over there. 7 points.
Yeah, I just don't like that one. I don't like how Vegas served that one up. Because it should have been 1. I could hammer at Dolphins -4. That's why the first half might be the play in that game if you like the Dolphins. 7's too much against Tomlin, but I am tempted to bet it. But
Pittsburgh just beat Tampa.
Yeah. Although, yeah, with 3rd and 4th, 5th string corner.
And now Tampa is a 13-point favorite. And they just got beat by this team that's getting 7 points. That's why that line makes no sense to me. So,
dude, you gotta watch it to truly appreciate how horrendous it is over there. It's bad. Lawson's not laughing because he knows what I'm talking about. It's bad.
Well,
no, it's bad.
Next week I might be, if you guys get me on, as I got a jet and get to poker, but I will be in Bill's Mafia land next Friday. So I will. I'll be in.
Bring the jacket.
Oh God, I'm bringing.
I heard it's already cold up there.
Oh yeah, of course it is every year. So I'm going home to Western New York. I will be in Western New York next week for this. I will be in Bill's Mafia land. The Bills will be on Monday Night Football. I will be going to the game. Against the Packers. So.
Oh God. Oh, no, it's awesome. I'm joking though, but listen, when I was a little kid, I used to go 3 or 4 times a year, and they had to take the cheerleaders away because the fans are just so outrageous. But it's going to be good. Most of the people there are calm, but Monday night in Buffalo, I'm surprised they actually let that happen as much as they do. But
well, with you, I don't know that I'm actually going to be going to the game, whether I'm going to be going to the Bills Empire to watch the game. So, I mean, I have the ability to go to the game if I want to.
Go to the game.
Well, it just depends on the temperature. Okay.
Have fun. Oh, come on, Lauren.
My blood is thinned out down here in Florida, so it depends on the temperature. Whether you're in the game or you're in the Bills Empire, it's absolutely no difference.
Yeah,
so,
I have to be outside a lot for my line of work, and it was 38 today, and I was struggling.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's absolutely
it's and it's not fun. That's why I would go to all the games. I would go September, October, then I would just go off because I had a really bad experience one time when I was 8 years old. I went with my grandpa, and it was 18 degrees, and I got frostbite, and they had to take me to the medical center where I saw Tony Baselli getting carted in there. It would be safe out there. And someone's saying they want to see you get power bombed through a table.
That's awesome. Thanks,
God. Did you guys see? Hold up. Did y'all see the Eagles fan that ran on the field with the team? When they were coming out of the tunnel, the Eagles fan jumped from the stands and ran onto the field with the whole Eagles team coming out. It was hilarious.
No,
you guys got to see this.
It's got to be on YouTube somewhere.
He literally jumped out of the stands, and it was the third one, charging out with the whole Eagles team. It was awesome.
I swear to God, those Philly fans are probably the most obnoxious.
Dude, I would love to be an Eagles fan. It would be so much fun.
I mean, they are some diehard people, and I have some good friends that are Philly fans, and God bless them. They won. They got statues now in the last 5 years or whatever, and they're having and they got Jalen, who I think it was a huge add to that team, and I picked that team to win the division in the preseason. And I'm telling you right now, some of those fans are the most obnoxious people I've ever seen. But the rest of them that are diehard, I mean, they got a good thing going right now. So God bless them.
Hit the like button, share the videos. I hope everyone has a good week. Patreon bets will be up tonight. I'm thinking about going live on Monday after probably afternoons, just letting everyone know. We'll see if I do it. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, everyone in the live chat. Have a great night.
We'll see you all from Bill's Mafia next week.
Yeah, you gotta go live there.
I will. I can.
All right, see ya.
All right, bye.
See you guys.